Hey, hello friends, welcome. If you're new, just hit that like button and subscribe. If you're in your 20s or 30s, this is the video for you. Why? Imagine if you had invested 1 lakh rupees in 2001 in, let's say, one stock Pidilite, for example. The stock price of Pidilite in 2001 was around 12 to 13 rupees. So with that, you would get round about 7,500 shares for 1 lakh rupees. Today, the price of Pidilite is 2,300, right? So with that said, and Pidilite has given a bonus of 1:1 in 2010. So imagine investing 1 lakh rupees in 2001 and getting round about 3.5 crores today. How cool is that? And that is exactly what I'm going to talk about today. How to pick stocks which are meant for retirement. Now, this kind of investment is a long-term investment. So you need to buy a stock today and then just forget about it. Don't even look at that stock for the next 20 years, right? But in order to have such a blind faith, you need to pick a stock in a right way that you know that you don't need to look at it. In order to pick a stock, it is very important to pick such stock which is having a growth potential and which you can buy today and then forget about it for the next 20 years. Let me give you an example. If you buy a stock today with this concept in mind that you want to keep it for 20 years, let's say after 3 years you looked at it and it has doubled. Okay. Then you say, wow, it's doubled. Then after, let's say, another 2 years, it came down a little bit, right? It happens. Then you get worried. Oh, should I cash it out? But that's the thing. If you start looking at stocks, there is always a possibility of you cashing it out. So you should be totally sure of what stocks you're picking. And that's the reason why we are going to look at how to pick a stock. In order to select a stock, you need to have a list. Okay. This list is basically what we are going to prepare today. So this list will be an Excel list of stocks where we will choose 20 such stocks that we will invest in. To prepare this list, what to do? The very first criteria, you have to select something, right? So selection will start from mid-cap 100 right up to Nifty 50. Why I chose mid-cap 100? Because these companies have a good amount of potential to grow. So the first filter criteria will be choosing all stocks from mid-cap 100 to Nifty 50. Clear. The second criteria would be to have indicators. The very first indicator is revenue growth. As you all know that India's GDP grows at around 7% to, let's say, 10% on an average per year. Now, with this benchmark, you know that your company has to grow beyond this benchmark because this is average, right? So if your company is having a revenue growth of above, let's say, 15%, that means it's a good company to invest in. So what indicator we are going to choose? We are going to choose an indicator which is having a revenue growth of 15% and above. And this is obviously taken from historical records. The second indicator is ROE. ROE stands for return on equity. Now this indicator is basically calculated with a certain formula. And the formula is net profit divided by shareholder equity. I don't need to explain what is net profit, but what is shareholder equity? So let's assume a company ABC Limited. Now this ABC Limited has a cash or assets of 300 crores, right? And liabilities of 100 crores. So the shareholder equity would be assets minus liabilities, which is 300 minus 100, which is equal to 200 crores. Let's assume that ABC Limited makes a profit of 20 crores. So net profit is equal to 20 crores. Shareholder equity was 300 minus 100, 200 crores. So 20 divided by 200 is 10%. So that is your ROE. Return on equity is 10%. ROE alone is a good indicator, but not enough. Why? Because imagine if the company had higher liability. Instead of 100, let's assume the liability is 250 crores. So then 300 minus 250 is only 50 and 20 divided by 50 is huge in terms of percentage. But that's wrong indicator. So we also need to look at another indicator which is ROCE. So this indicator is basically return on capital invested. This indicator gives a pretty clear picture. Why? Because it takes into consideration the entire capital which is invested. It is said that if ROE and ROCE are very close to each other, so for example, ROE is 15% and ROCE is also around 15 to 18%, then we can say that the company is doing really, really great. The fourth indicator is basically the percentage of CAGR. CAGR indicator is important. Why? Because it will give you an indication of how much you would make per year, right? If you had invested in this stock. Now, debt to equity is another indicator that is very important. It gives you a clear picture of how much debt the company has. We will choose only those stocks which are below 0.5D debt to equity. And now the real question, how to actually get this list? Very simple. I'll show you.
Alright, so I have opened tickertape.in. Now this is a screening site that I use. You can use any other site. So this is not a promotion of Tickertape, obviously. So let me go to screeners. I want to create a new screen. So there are 4,525 stocks. I want to limit them. So our very first indicator was choosing the indices, which is Nifty 50, Mid Cap 100, Nifty 100. Update. So 200 stocks are selected. Okay. Sector, I don't want to choose any sector. Market cap is fine. Closing price PE ratio, I'm not interested. Add filters. Okay. So there are certain filters that I want to add. So the very first filter is 5-year average return on equity and ROCE. Okay. Price to volume. Price to volume, I want to add 5-year CAGR. Okay. Financial ratio, I want to add debt to equity. Yes. Growth, I want to add 5-year historical revenue. Add filters. I think that's it, right? That's what we talked about in our video. So here I got a list, 200 stocks. And now if I go to ROE average, you can see a list of stocks which are Hindustan Unilever 66. But what is ROC? 18. Yeah, not bad. 20% growth year on year. Debt is 0. Historical revenue 7. Okay, fine. So it gives you a clear picture that Hindustan Unilever is a great stock to choose, right? Castrol India not because it's minus 8% and so on. So we get this list. How much time it took? Less than, let's say, 2 minutes, right? What we do, we just go and export. That's it. Once you download this, you need to filter out in such a way. The first filter would be 5-year average ROE should be greater than 15. First filter. Second filter, ROCE greater than 15. Third filter, average CAGR greater than 10. Debt to equity lesser than 10. 5-year historical growth greater than 5. So this is a basic criteria that you can adopt, which will give you a list of, let's say, 50 stocks. Out of these 50 stocks, then you can choose which sector to involve, which company that you feel that it's good. Then all those factors kick in, right? So then we can really talk about the 20 stocks that you want to invest and forget. With that said, I thank you all for watching. Hit that like button, do comment, and do subscribe. Again, start early, invest now. Cheers. See you.